I burned $30,000 on a failed startup during Y Combinator, but that $30,000 loss on tax and legal fees was one of the best learning lessons because we turned it into a $100 million company, which is Doola today. My name is Arjun Mahadevan. I'm the CEO and founder of doola.com, a YC-backed fintech startup here in New York City that's raised over $13 million. Today, I want to give you the exact playbook we followed to go from $30,000 failure to a company now valued at $100 million. My goal here is to share how you can actually turn your biggest setbacks into a huge comeback story. This was, in the grand scheme of Doola's history, maybe the darkest time. I remember being so freaking excited when we got the call from Aaron Epstein, who is our YC group partner, saying, hey, congratulations, you've made it into YC. Now, if you're not familiar with YC, Y Combinator, I've done dedicated videos on this, is the world's most prestigious startup accelerator. Companies like Dropbox, Airbnb, Coinbase, and Stripe have all gone through YC. So getting in and joining that echelon was freaking incredible. However, YC doesn't determine if your startup will succeed. If only it was as easy as getting into YC. And we learned this the hard way. We got into YC with this company that was a video messaging app. The idea was you could send a video instead of going on a live Zoom call. And that way me and my teammate in India can communicate asynchronously versus needing to coordinate across time zones. The worst part was COVID had just hit. And I mean, that was bad because one, COVID was bad, but two, it diluted us. The world thought, holy crap, work is going to change. We need a new medium for work. Maybe this asynchronous video messaging app is actually something that can work. So we had people, 20 to 30 inbound leads per day coming in trying out the tool. But the truth is, no one was paying. No one was grabbing us by the shirt collar saying, I need this. If anything, we learned the hard way. Shocker, most people hate recording themselves on video. We didn't have network effects. We had negative network effects, where if one person in the stand-up said, screw this, I don't want to record myself on video, we're going to go back to Slack or to Zoom. So halfway through the batch, demo day was approaching, our numbers weren't even flat, they were decreasing. We had a decision to make. Decision being, do we still go out there and try to pitch investors on a vision that people just don't get it? They'll come around. This is the future of work. Or if we've lost conviction, do we pivot? And we made the decision that we're not going to go out and just pitch for the sake of pitching, just going through the motions. The goal isn't just to call myself a founder or to say, hey, I checked the YC box. I wanted to build something that people want. And the truth is, I had lost conviction. So decided to stop that company. And it was in the doldrums of pivot land. And that's what I call it. The doldrums being, imagine you're just on a boat in sea with no wind. You're just stuck. You're floating. And that's what I kind of think going through a pivot's like. It was during this journey or that time when I did some reflection. And here's the truth. If you want to guarantee the likelihood of something working, there are way safer things to do than starting a business. Most businesses fail. If you are playing the odds, you should not start a business. Seriously, you shouldn't. There's way higher EV or expected value things you could do. But I'll tell you the truth. What ate at me wasn't the fact that the company didn't work. That's bound to happen. That's actually the odds. What ate at me was, what if I had spent more time building the product or trying different sales or growth channels? Because maybe we were one channel or one product or one feature away from turning things around or getting an insight. But instead, when I did reflection, the thing that pissed me off the most was I spent over $30,000 of investor money that YC invested onto tax, compliance, back office admin work. And I spent probably even more time in terms of dollar value on those tasks as well. That is candidly what ate at me the most. It's that dollar cost, but also the opportunity cost of the lost time. And time is the good equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're Jeff Bezos or a newborn baby. We all face time. Time is the common denominator. It's the most valuable asset. So it was during that reflection that the idea for Doola was actually born, because we were thinking, hey, we want to start something new. We're going to have to go through that entire process again and spend all that time and money. What if I just had a Staples Easy button? Why can't I just click a button that says that was easy and spin up or initialize a company? And that is quite literally how Doola was born. This idea of, wait a second, imagine we could help founders who went through a very similar journey that we went through, click a button and spin up a company. Not just a company with a checklist of things to do where you feel like you've been thrown to the wolves, but your business in a box, your one-stop shop, your formation, your bookkeeping, your taxes, your analytics, the advisory, everything you need to form, get to first sale, and then get to scale. So I now want to give you a framework. I came up with a name for this. I called it the Phoenix Framework. One, because there's some alliteration, but two, The analogy here is a phoenix rises from the ashes. And I think there are learnings here that anyone can apply, whether you're going through a pivot or if you're just going through a dark time in life. Could be your health, could be a family situation. I think you can apply these frameworks, but let's actually apply it to going through a pivot if you're going through a pivot specifically. So the first thing is audit the pain. It's going to feel crappy. I remember being in YC, and I'm not going to lie, some of my closest friends were out raising millions of dollars. Their company was working. Other companies were posting in Slack saying, hey, we just hit a new all-time high in revenue. There was a channel called #boom. It's designed to share momentum, but every piece of momentum felt like a stab of they made it and we didn't. Not gonna lie, it was a crappy feeling of maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I can't do it. What did they do that we couldn't do? So it was a dark time for sure, but that's where, rather than just wallowing in your misery, audit the pain. Actually just stop and think and ask yourself, if you went through pain and things didn't work, chances are someone else felt that pain. So step one is audit the pain. Don't get me wrong, you can feel upset, maybe you want some comfort ice cream, whatever it is, go do that. Embrace the emotions, go through it. But at a certain point, you have to audit the pain. Just understand what went wrong and do a complete audit. Now, step two is you felt that pain. Now zoom out one more level. Ask yourself, is this a universal problem? And I will bet you this, there's probably some problem in here that is universal. And by the way, when I say universal, it doesn't even have to be something that the whole world uses. What you're effectively trying to figure out here is, hey, I felt this pain, sample size n equals 1. Is there 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 1,000 other people or other companies that felt this pain? Process was simple for this. We went through this pain as an international company trying to get into YC. There are lots of other international companies trying to get into YC. The competition wasn't really focusing on international companies. Great, we had our Trojan horse, we had our wedge. Let's help international founders get into YC. That is a universal problem. There are thousands, if not millions, of international businesses looking to get into the US, get into YC. And lastly, step 3 is build the easy button. Now, I love that Stable's easy button analogy. I don't think it applies just for doola. If you've identified and audited your pain, you found a problem, you then realize, hey, this is a universal problem, meaning others have it. Your job as a founder is then to build the easy button. That's why people pay you. They're paying you for the savings in time or money. You're making it easier for them. You're giving them more value. So this easy button concept doesn't have to mean click button, start company, get bank account, bookkeeping done, taxes done. It can be for literally any business you are doing. If you think about it, let's use an example. Uber's easy button is click button, car picks you up, takes you to another location. Airbnb's easy button is, hey, book a place, you show up, it's clean, you can stay there, it's a nice authentic experience. There are so many different examples for this, but the framework here is just take that pain that you found, you realize it's a universal problem, go out there and build that Staples easy button. You truly can turn your darkest moment into your brightest days. In entrepreneurship, the only way you lose is if you quit. If you keep going, you are in the game. Imagine you and I both have a dice, and every time I roll the dice, it has 100 sides, and one side of my dice is green, the other 99 are red. So I'm rolling dice, and if you keep showing up red, keep showing up red. But when you roll green, a magic thing happens. One of the red sides turns green. So the first time I roll green, I have a 1 in 100 chance, but now another red side turned green, so it's 2 in 100. So every day I keep rolling, I'm rolling more than you. And then eventually I keep rolling greens, and then more greens show up. So eventually I have 50 greens. Now I have a 50-50 chance of rolling green. And then eventually you have so many greens that every roll you make is green, 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 green. Now, someone else might be there starting their entrepreneurship journey, and their dice has 1 green side and 99 red sides. So they're rolling, nothing's working, nothing's working. That to me is the best analogy for entrepreneurship, and it's why some people seem to have home runs or hit green all the time. The truth is, they've just been rolling longer than you. They've been in the game longer than you. So again, the only way you can lose is if you stop rolling, if you give up, if you don't try to pivot, but if you stay in the game. That is how you can actually rise from the ashes. And again, the analogy might be cheesy, but I truly think if you audit your pain, find the universal problem, and then build the easy button, you can truly turn any failure into a new success. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions about my personal founder journey, our journey through YC, going through a pivot, it can be scary, it can be dark. You can message me. I'm more than happy to answer. Comment down below. I will respond and read every question. Also, if you yourself are scaling a business, maybe you went through these expensive tax and legal pains, this is quite literally why we built Doola. So you can focus on what you do best while Doola handles the rest with our business in a box. So you can head to doola.com, link below, schedule a free demo with the team. I would be honored to be a small part of your journey. And if you enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications. I put out content like this on the regular. Once again, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.